Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
Well. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of RAERAEs Review. And this is about Real Housewives, well, I call them Real Heifers, of Potomac, Season 9, Episode 1. We are back another year, hopefully with a better attitude for some of these women. Where actually, ooh, little something in my throat. Now, I stayed away for about a year, about 18 months, due to the shenanigans going on with this franchise. And we all know what those are, hopefully were. Now, some folks are not here, which I'm happy about. Some folks are back, which I am happy about. And we have some new heifers. And I am so glad that we have them with us this season. Now, we kind of start off now. Let me say this. This reenactment of Karen's DW/UI was just tawdry and uncouth, just, tacky to do such a thing. I'm really sick and tired of production trying to create all this oomph and chatter of, to drum up business for clicks and views and reviews. Hello. I think production, if this is the same production team as last year, the year before, I can see why they would do it this way. I don't appreciate reenacting this criminal act, as pretty much is what it is. It's not just a civil issue, it's a criminal issue. And it's really, it's just not cute to reenact this. Now, of course, they can play the 911 calls, all of what is, apparently available to the public, all of the police calls and such about the incident. But, it's just not cute. So, we all know Karen Huger, Woodward Huger, got a DUI/DWI last year, or earlier this year. And, she was pretty much put on the coals, ranked through the coals for it, as she should be. No one should be out there doing it. Nobody. I don't care who you are, who you is, especially someone of Karen's Potomac grandeur. She should got a driver. What happened to old Blue Eyes? Is he no longer in the picture? Child, we don't know. Maybe we'll find out. So anyway, GizzHell, GizzHell, that has not changed until proven otherwise, okay? GizzHell picks up Karen from her home, and we saw Ray. Hey, Ray, how you doing, man? It's good to see you, man. He, kisses his wife goodbye, and they're off for breakfast. And they go to one of Karen's favorite breakfast spots. And of course, they're treated oh so greatly. And the chivalry is definitely not dead when it comes to Karen Huger and how she's treated. She speaks about the incident with GizzHell and just pretty much reinforces that she was lacking emotional support from her husband. A lot of things were going on, she said, with her. And that contributed to her making poor judgment call as far as getting behind the wheel under the influence of alcohol and maybe something else. Now, we can all understand being emotional and feeling sad and depressed and whatnot and have you. But, maybe a lot of us gets away with it and, we make it home. But this time, Karen didn't. And shame on her, like I said. The waiter made it perfectly, abundantly clear that he vouches for Karen. She has never, ever left there or arrived there under the influence, and GizzHell tried to challenge it. Well, you don't serve alcoholic drinks. And she was molded because the table behind her showed them their glasses. No, we over here drinking. But they had kids with them. Child, what's really going on? And pretty much debunks what GizzHell said about you don't serve drinks. So what are you talking about? And then they talk about Mia's throuple. Hold on, I gotta take a sip of this. Hold on. Real good, real good. Now, Mia's throuple, her husband G, and her allegedly, speaking of course, baby daddy, what's his name? Ink? Ice? What was his name? Ink? He about to be highlighter because G ain't having it. Apparently, towards the end of this episode, G ain't having it. So apparently, we all heard the rumblings and all that carrying on from last season. How G was upset with Mia for allowing their children to stumble upon them in the throes of passion. As G said it, their son found Mia and Ink in the throes of passion. And apparently that was one of the arrangements that they made, that the children will not be involved in extramarital or extracurricular activities. So Mia's being sloppy. As we know, Mia is sloppy and she needs to, get a hold of that. And it's really not cute for kids to find you in compromising positions. Lock the door. Make sure, we all heard of a certain NBA player whose, family caught him doing some things and the son kind of imitated that. Now the son has a case. Now we don't need cheering trying to imitate what their parents have done. Because kids don't know no better. They just see what they see and think it's okay for them to do because it seems interesting to them. And child, that's okay now. Mia, get your, life together. Next, we got Mia and Gordon and the kids. They're going out for ice cream. And here we go. They're talking about how Ink and Mia is co-signing this. Ink wants a DNA paternity test on their son. Gordon was like, hell to the no, that's my kid, and that's that on that. I don't blame G, but at the same time, Mia says it's a possibility. So you got to do what you got to do. I know he doesn't like that, but, for someone to cheat on his wife, get with Mia, and then marry her, make it some type of arrangement to where all these extra sexual curricular activities are condoned, you really have some people say it's karma, what goes around comes around, so, and some things are biblical. What you do to somebody, it'll come back to you 10 times, tenfold. So, sometimes you just gotta, eat the crow, because you just have to deal with what comes. And perhaps G didn't really think about what could happen more so than, what is happening. But since Mia said it is a possibility that their son is not Gordon's and it is Ink's, then, excuse me, it's time for Dana to get involved. At least that's what I think. Next, we got Ashley at her divorce attorney's office. Why is she there? hearing a conversation between her and her attorney really irks my jerk. She pretty much says she wants as many penises appointments as possible. So she needs this divorce to happen. She's 34, 5, 36 years old, and she is just hot to trot. Loose puss. Child, some things don't need to be said on TV, but then again, we're talking about Ashley. Ever since, I think, allegedly speaking, of course, she made that deal with Bravo on production when her husband Michael was, pinching booties at at Monique and Chris's house and got caught. And apparently the tape just went missing. It seems at that point was when Ashley made it a point to be more involved with mess on the show. Again, I believe, allegedly speaking, of course, that Ashley made a deal with production of Bravo that she would bring the bull, and that's what she's been doing ever since. And it's just, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Ashley, stop giving us that rundown of loose puss, and you're a mother now. If you weren't a mother, it wouldn't be so bad, but because you are, this is going to be seen by your children, and you don't want your children to know that their mama had loose puss. Now, we never want our kids to know that we had loose puss, and thank goodness for those of us who did our dirt before social media occurred, because child, this whole world will be in trouble. Anywho, what's next? That was it with Ashley and her attorney. Pretty much that was it. Anyway. Next, we got Wendy, child. Wendy then quit her job at Johns Hopkins. I don't know why. They didn't say why she did. I must have missed it. Maybe she mentioned it from last year. I don't know. But on this episode, she was talking over with her husband. She sent the email on camera. What's done is done. Now she's afraid of her mama. As she should be. Next, we got Karen meets up with Stacey, the new housewife. She, has some dealings on QVC or something like that. So she's pretty much well known in that arena. I had no clue who this woman is. And, she's a pretty Black woman, of course. They got the aesthetic that they were really looking for. So they plan to meet up at Vivian's boutique, where Walona used to work. And Vivian makes it a point to, what's her name? Karen makes it a point to Vivian that Stacey ain't wearing that big old rock of a wedding ring. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Come to find out, Stacey admits that she's been separated from her German husband, and she describes him as her German husband. That's what she said. And they have a beautiful little girl that they've been separated for a year. These Real Housewives of so-and-so really need a new name, because most of them ain't even married. And it's, I really want these women to be married. Now, of course, you're going through something. Technically Stacey is. But we have plenty of housewives that are not married coming on to the show unmarried. I think it should be criteria. Once you are no longer married, you have to leave the show. That's what I think. Otherwise, it's just false advertisement, if you ask me. So what else are they talking about? So they up at Vivian's boutique where Walona used to work. And they just all just happy-go-lucky. It's a beautiful establishment. That's somewhere I would want to buy a beautiful gown for any extravagant event. Really nice. Next, we got GizzHell's Hatitude Party. Pretty much celebrating Karen's birthday. Every year, they always celebrate Karen's birthday in some form of fashion. And GizzHell has thrown a Hatitude Party. Now, everyone is not supposed to come in hats, which is surprising to me, but it's called a Hatitude Party. Remember Jacqueline, what's her name? Mia's quote-unquote sister. She came. Of course, Mia came. Mia brought this girl named Jassy, Jassi. It was a Jazzy. It's spelled Jassi, but how do you pronounce it? Jassy or Jazzy? Anyway, She's married to an NFL player of the Kansas City Chiefs. I forgot his name. And who else came? Of course, Ashley. Um, Stacey came. Who else came? Did I say Jacqueline? So it was Karen, Jacqueline, GizzHell through it. Wendy. Wendy was invited by GizzHell. Now, when Wendy came in, she didn't hug GizzHell. But she came through, but she did mention it in the confessional. Me and GizzHell are gonna have to talk a little later, talk about what's going on between us. But we're gonna enjoy this party, which was cute. I wish you would have told her then. Thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it. It seems like that's an olive branch, which is very, grown up of you, very mature of you, which I never thought it could be. However, we can talk about our relationship at a later time. I just want to enjoy today's festivities. How about you? Something like that. Of course, that's something I would have said because I said it. However, I wish that Wendy would have told GizzHell at the time and not in these doggone confessionals. Why they want to act big and bad and Billy Badass in the confessional, but they really can't get down and dirty when it's supposed to happen. Again, if production cut it out, shame on you. If they didn't, I really want these women to handle things at the time and stop waiting. The longer you wait, the worse it's going to be, and folks get to gather all more intel and try to blame you for waiting and carrying on. And I just want folks to handle things at the time. You know what I'm saying? Get it done then. Anywho, what's next? What else happened at the party? Karen laid down the law. When it came around to the ladies, wanting to pretty much ask Karen a question, Karen's like, okay, what's up? Anybody got questions? Whoop, 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 whoop. But Karen said, before anything else, I'm going to need to know where y'all stand. Because I'm not here for no bullshit. Either you with me, which means that you are with me 100%. No talking behind my back. No, talking out the side of your neck about me. I'm here. So I need to know who is down with Karen. And they was just looking like, whoa, okay, this is a new Karen. Is it a new Karen? Or is it just that she's saying it differently? Because the last 8 years, she's been letting folks know, I am who I am. And if you with me, you with me. And you should not and definitely cannot think you're my friend if you're talking smack behind my back. I'm just saying. So after all that was said and done, the hat to crowning or whatever GizzHell called it started to happen. She had two people in mind. So she gave the king hat, which was a cowboy hat called the king, to Mia because she is pimping all over the world. And I'm like, what? What did she say? Because Mia has a husband and a man, a boyfriend, openly. And I'm like, oh, that is just trifling. And they get me a little, thrown because they start to talk about the throuple situation. And it was really kind of tacky but then again, this is Housewives and that's just how they do it on Bravo, on these Housewives shows. Both Karen and GizzHell had some very negative things to say to Mia about how she's. See, it's one thing to crown her the king, and it's another thing to tell her how wrong she is being with her personal life. Again, this is her personal life, and how she chooses to deal with it and run it should be of no concern to nobody. But they're talking about how the kids are involved. Karen mentioned how has G's back in all of this. Did nobody ask Karen whose back she got? I mean, it's none of your business. Grind down. And you got a lot to worry about than to worry about G's back. You got your front, side, middle, and top and bottom to worry about. And your freedom. Hello, according to Ashley, she could be thrown in jail. Child, I wish I would. Anywho, So I thought Karen bringing that up and bringing up how the kids are involved and how much the kids are being talked about and what and who they belong to and what they saw, in reference to finding Mia in bed with another man other than their father, presumably. Child, Mia took offense to that, started crying and stormed out. But before that, GizzHell had to throw in her half a cent. And I'm like, didn't you just crown this heifer the king of pimping? But you tell her how wrong she's being because her children are involved. And it really, really offended Mia. But Jacqueline came to her, rescue, was like, she is a great mom. She is handling things the way she is supposed to. But they just, it's obvious. It's so obvious that they're blaming Karen and GizzHell are blaming Mia for all of the nonsense, especially with the kids being put in all of this. I'm like, dang. Anywho, and then before the night is over, the next crowning of the cowboy hat goes to Ashley from GizzHell because she brought them to what's that city in Austin, Texas. And it was just GizzHell was tacky. It was just kind of all over the place a little bit and going nowhere. But anywho, it was just, kind of tacky again for them to go after Mia, and Mia storms out, go to the bathroom. Jacqueline follows, her girlfriend Jassy follows, and it was just, kind of toe up. But that was the end of episode 1, season 9, Real Heifers of Potomac. Can't wait to meet the rest of the girls. I think her name is Kay. She was the one involved in that melee at G&A's. That is GizzHell's and Ashley's. What is that? Athleisure wear launch. Girl, ain't nobody buying that mess. Ain't nobody buying it. And I think what's her name? Wendy said this is just like they got all this stuff that they want to sell, but it's nowhere on the website. Now, who's that remind you of? She still ain't got that stuff on her website. Child, with that note, on that note, we are out of here. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next week with another episode of Real Heifers of Potomac, Season 9, Episode 2. See ya.